at 1:35 p.m. and ask Councilman Armel to say our prayer.
Gosh, I need a logic. I'd like to say a few words. Thank you for giving us this day. Watch over our elders, our children, everybody in between. Watch over all of our incarcerated membership. Watch over all of our soldier boys and girls near and far from home. Pray they come home one mind, one body, one spirit. Watch over our family for that bipedal relatives. And McGee, good day, sketchy.
Thanks, Eric. Council, we have an agenda that's been prepared. The one addition I have is under executive session. I understand that we have a tribal member here that's expecting to visit with the council. Are there any other additions?
There's an executive session point that needs to be made.
Okay. Any further?
Is that on the agenda to add?
Yes.
Executive session point?
Yep.
Any further additions to the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
We have motion by Brian. Do we have a second? Second by Isaac. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried. 6-0. 600
Yeah.
to approve the agenda. We'll go through the minutes. The first set is the January 11th, 2023 closed special meeting on wages and pay scale. Do we have a motion to approve that agenda?
Move it.
Motion by Eric. Do we have a second?
Second. Oh, Isaac, go ahead.
Second by Isaac. Discussion. Just as an update, those that motion is still being implemented in HR and they're due to be completed in March. Any further discussion?
I object to it.
All those in favor of the motion say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Brian, Louis, Eric, Lorelei, opposed.
Aye.
Abstentions. Motion carried 4-1-0.
Was Isaac a yes?
Oh yes.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5-1-0 then. My bad. 5-1-0. The second set of minutes are the January 16th, 2023 mid-monthly tribal council meeting. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Coley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 6-0-0. 2, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6-0-0. Third item, January 18th, 2023 General Council minutes. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Coley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Brian. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 6-0-0. Number 4, January 27, 2023 Treasurer's Report meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Brian. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Coley. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 6-0-0. Number 5, January 31st, 2023 special meeting BIA law enforcement. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
Move it.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Louis, second by Eric. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 6-0-0. That moves us into the ratifications of the 5 signatures. Number 1, approve $1,000 emergency assistance to tribal member to assist with house fire. Do we have a motion to ratify?
Move it.
Second.
We have a motion by Eric. Do we have a second by Brian? Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 6-0-0. The second action is to ratify the adoption of Resolution 23-69 fiscal year BIA bison funding. Do we have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Motion by Eric, second by Brian. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 6-0-0. We have no new business. Under old business, we have a follow-up on a motion regarding the Warhorse free play request. For the membership's awareness, we had some dialogue at a treasurer's report, and the motion was to place this on the next regular agenda to be discussed with the membership and elaborate on the concern. Would anybody like to speak to this?
I do.
Brian?
Thank you, Madam Chair. When this issue was brought forward in I believe the January 27th Treasurer's Report meeting, my objection to it was done in the way because I wasn't aware that this was an actual real request that was made. So when it was admitted that it was requested, my intent on this was simply to remove myself from its inclusion, because I went to the event, which was the Senator's Luncheon in Lincoln at the Capitol, but I in no way, shape, or form solicited, nor did I receive the free play that occurred at the Warhorse facility later that afternoon. Because of the scenarios that the tribe has been in, especially taking into consideration what occurred in 2015, I didn't feel that it was right for any member of the council to try to include the rest of us when the rest of us didn't ask for it, and didn't receive it. Whatever was done, whatever was received, whatever was taken, that's on those that did it. And that's my why I made the motion. It's said in public forum. Again, it can't be stated any more clearly than I in no way, shape, or form attended anything at Warhorse. I have still yet to even enter the building physically. While I did attend the Senator's Luncheon, the activities that followed were not part of my itinerary.
Okay, I want to make a comment.
Thank you, Brian, for sharing that. Lorelai?
Okay, I think there's a difference here of tribal council free play and senior free play. I don't know anything about asking for tribal council to have free play. I'm not involved. I didn't have anything to do with any such thing. So when I got elected 3 years ago, I asked, my very first question was, I enjoy my senior free play at Winnebago. Is there a motion that tribal council members that are seniors can't use their senior free play? And there was none. There is none. So, this past winter, Lance Morgan was in here presenting on Warhorse, and he told the council that he authorized Winnebago senior free play of $50 and a $20 food and beverage for Winnebago seniors that go to Warhorse, just like they get from Winnebago. And nobody made a motion against that there, and nobody said tribal council members that are seniors can't use their Winnebago senior free play. So after the luncheon, I took leave from 1 to 3:30 that afternoon so I could enjoy my senior free play at Warhorse, because it was reported there was no motion against tribal council members that are already Winnebago seniors that we can't use our senior free play. So that's what I did. So then when the issue came up, I don't know anything about asking for tribal council free play. I didn't have no part of anything like that. But because the issue came up, I paid for my free play. And I made sure that I was on leave. So I didn't do anything about tribal council free play. Nothing. And there's no motion against Winnebago seniors that become tribal council members can't use their Winnebago free play. There's no motion to that effect, so nothing illegal was done. But I don't know about asking for tribal council free play. I don't have nothing to do with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorelai. I think just this issue has brought a lot of disruption to the table and energy that we could be using other places. And I just want to say for the record that no council member should be in jest or direction be asking or anything from any of our gaming entities, whether that be gaming development, Winnebago, Warhorse. It's just, it's not a good look. And I hope that no one from the table feels compelled to speak on all of our behalf in the future. And that I guess all the folks that have decision-making power in those entities, that they see this meeting as a direction that don't be giving nobody free play. So I just hope that this doesn't hurt anything we have going forward, because we don't need those type of disruptions. Isaac, did you want to say something?
Yeah. So, and that's the meeting that I walked out on at 11:25 a.m. because I was talking with Mike Machad, the GM at Winnebago, and started to get upset with Councilman Mallory because he called for the question and interrupted the comments that I was being made at that time. So at the time I felt that all the people, all the constituents, all the people that voted for me's voice was silenced then. And from my understanding and looking at it was that there's two separate trips. There's the senior citizens that took a trip down to Warhorse, and then there's the luncheon. And the luncheon with the senators, after that there was free play that was given, that was asked by Kenny Mallory, and Louis received it, Lorelei received it, and Kenny received it. And so that's what I started to get upset with, because it jeopardizes the integrity of this table. And one thing that we have to remind ourselves of is that moving forward with all these things is that these casinos and all the casinos that we own, they're not ATMs for any tribal council members at any point in time. And one of the things is that I was looking at was that if somebody received that free play on the tribal council and happened to hit a big jackpot, what would they do with that, and how would that look? Would they take that winnings and turn it back into the cage and say, I just wanted to hear the sound of the machine go off? Or would they walk out the door with that and file the proper paperwork with that? How does that look? Because I know that in the previous years, there's been a lot of council that got in situations with that same occurrence. And the best way to eat a shit sandwich is with small bites. And if the integrity of this table is going to be jeopardized in that manner, then we really need to share that transparency with the rest of the membership, so that way they know of what's going on and taking place. Because we all claim at one point in time that we sit here for people, but due to the authority that we may seem to assume that we have, those things are made and those things are asked for without being approved on any agenda, without being approved by any tribal council. So literally the way that I understand it is that each one of us are powerless without the whole table supporting us and backing us up on any decisions that if we was to speak for the whole table. And so I just wanted to kind of weigh in on that and share that with the membership, that in the Constitution it says if you receive anything over the amount of $50, then that can lead into a ethical complaint or lead into suspension or removal of the council. And we've held a lot of people's feet to the fire before, and I'm not sitting here at this table to go down or get caught up in anything like that. And so I have to stand up for my own sake and the people that elected me to be at this table. And so I just wanted to weigh in on that, because I feel that's a real slippery slope. And once that door is opened up, bad things can happen and become of that, and indictments can become, all these different things can become of that. And from my understanding, it was $70, $20 for food and $50 for free play. Now, if you total that up, that's $70. That would be in violation of the Constitution, which would be grounds for suspension or an ethical complaint or removal. Moving forward with the rest of the council's decisions, I don't know where the rest of the council's decisions would go or want to be, but I just at the same time feel that I have to voice my opinion on this of where I stand with this. Thank you.
Thanks, Isaac, for sharing that. Did you want me to
I have a
comment?
response.
Okay, go ahead, Louis, respond, and then Eric's next. You have the floor, Louis.
I don't being called a thief because I took senior citizen money. I get money at the casino. Nobody calls me a thief there, like I was violating the Constitution. I took it thinking that it was free play, like Winnebago. I didn't take it, but I paid it back. I didn't think I had to. No, it had to clear it up. People use senior citizens all the time.
Your audio's not good, Louis. The last thing we heard you say, Louis. was
Okay.
that- okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. We're not-
The fact that I took the money, I did it as a senior citizen, taking money like they give me at the casino. They give me, I earn my players club money to eat. I don't think that's been a thief. I don't think taking money from Warhorse, thinking it was senior citizen money, makes me a thief. I will comply with the law, but it's got to be spelled out for me. There's a bitter feeling to be addressed. My friend like Brian, he shocked the hell out of me. Sometimes these young kids see the senior citizens really shabby. They expect us to get over it. We get over it. We don't forget it. Thank you.
Thanks, Louis. Eric had a comment.
Well, Councilman Smith had just said with the Constitution, the money amounts. And Councilman Mallory did admit to requesting that money, the free play on that trip. And what gets to me is he spoke on behalf of the council when, as far as I know, none of us agreed to it. It didn't come to the table as a motion. And so to have it being spoken without it coming to the table and saying that it came from the tribal council, I don't agree with that. I find that I don't find that right. And so if there's any ethical complaints that should come forth from this, you know, we say the tribal council chambers are open, and for anyone to come down or get the paperwork for that, I would be in agreement with that. Because there's a difference between senior money and being on the tribe's dime of taking care of business and having the tribal transit take you to one of these facilities and to exercise that authority and use that money to gamble with. And the hypothesis was, if they won a jackpot, what would they have done? Knowing that that was the tribe that took them down there. Alleged, a frivolous statement of it coming from the council to get that money and to win on it. Where would that money go? That's what I wonder. How would that play out? And anything that was won shouldn't belong to that individual, if anything was won. And so, along with that, the senior money, if you're driving yourself to the casino after hours in your own POV, personally owned vehicle, that's different. Then yes, I think you would be entitled to anything you want, to play any amount of money that you want. But when you're going somewhere for a business, talk to senators, and then on the way back home, get some money that was given to you, misdirected money of how it was acquired, I think that's, I don't think that's right. I think that would be unethically executed. And so I just want to say that much, because I know the council didn't agree to getting that money, and to know that some of the council members did take that money under those circumstances where senior money is only good to a certain extent. Like I say, after hours, arriving in your own POV in public transportation, something like that, but not while you're on the clock. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric, for sharing that. Are there any other comments?
I didn't do anything as a council member. I was on leave, and I paid back the senior free play. I got my receipt. But if the council has that concern about when a senior hits at the casino, and if they're a council member, then make a motion and say tribal council members that are senior citizens can't use their senior play. But there's no motion to that effect. So make a motion and make it the law. And that way everybody's clear. But the way Isaac said it was, I kind of agree with that. About, what if I was out at Winnebago playing my senior play and I won a jackpot? I never did win a jackpot, but if I won a jackpot while I'm a council member, even though I'm out there playing my free play, that is an issue. And so I'm okay with making a motion to clarify that Winnebago seniors that get elected to the tribal council cannot play their free play while they're on the tribal council. I'm in support of that. But make it a law. And then it's clear and everybody knows there's a differentiation here. Thank you.
The place that these suggestions in the document that, you know, these that require these updates would be the special procedures for ethical something or other, and that's our code of conduct, and where some of this is needs to be inserted. Kenny, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I want to comment to Eric's statement. First of all, I can't imagine us having to touch base with one another in something we want to do on behalf of our people, on behalf of one another, or whoever it is. I just feel it's frivolous to think that we have to go to each other to ask if we can do this, if we can do that. There's 9 of us to come together on opinions. So I think that's kind of a off the edge statement that I just went out and did something on my own. First of all, let me tell you that I didn't go and make that demand from anybody. I called Lance and I said, Lance, you know, that'd be pretty cool if you made free play available to all the council members and staff that want to go down to the state, down to the conference with the state legislatures. That's all I did. I mentioned it to him that would be a neat thing to do. But I did stop by to Tori's office, just stepped in a minute and says, Tori, I talked to Lance and I suggested that maybe he could give this people that are going down to the hearing free play at our new casino. I just touched base with her. I didn't ask her for a response and anything, but I did mention that to her. Maybe that was meant to be because it would compensate for what you just suggested, that I went out and did that on my own. Let me go one step further and say that I was down there. I knew about the free play, and I didn't go down there. Probably for one reason is that I was the one that asked if that could happen. Ethically, I felt like I shouldn't be going down there to the casino and playing free play, something that I asked for other people. It may have included me, but I didn't go down there feeling uncomfortable that I asked for it and then go down there and partake in it. So I just wanted to make that clear. I asked myself, I went and asked him, yes, but it would have took me a long time to go around to each one of you and ask you if I could do something like this. But I went to someone I respected as our leader and just mentioned it. Didn't ask for an opinion or anything. So that's how it played out. I didn't go there for that one reason, because I was the one that suggested it and I didn't think I should be taking part in it. That's where I'm coming from.
Our treasurer is not here in this meeting or to speak for herself, but she told me that she told them not to do it. So, you know, when and if, you know, this process and this discussion that we're having isn't the judge, jury, and trial, you know, but it's kind of playing out like on what people did or didn't do. And so there's a process for that. And I guess I encourage Rona to share her role in this and on how we got here. You know, it's not good, and it's just sickening that we're having this discussion and trying to go after one another. And so I hope that our treasurer can provide that reassurance that everyone's looking for, and hold the person that gave it responsible. I don't know, like why did they set the table up to be giving anything? That's what I think. Eric.
Well, first off, I'd like to say all the leaders are sitting at this table. That's first and foremost, and that's where all the communication should have been. Now, I think it would have behooved you to come around and ask each and every one of us, preferably a meeting way prior to that, so we'd all be on the same page. And if that was the case, I might have even gone there myself. But that wasn't the reason of that day of being in Lincoln. And so with that, I think that I think it was wrong. I think it was wrong. And should an ethical complaint come out, then I think we're gonna have to honor that. And so that's just me. And there is a difference between the free play while you're on the clock as a council member during working hours, and off the clock on your own personal time. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric,
Madam
for
Chair.
sharing that. Kenny.
We're not on the clock. We're not on a clock at any time.
Okay. I'm very sorry that Rona's not here, because she had a you know, she is the person that asked me, do I want it? And I said no. And when she got the text or the phone call or whatever it was, the communication asking who all wants it, I distinctly told her I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want it. And I didn't go over there after the luncheon. So all this, what should have, or maybe at that point, maybe our treasurer should have tried to go to each and every one of us, but I don't think people were in their office at that time of day, at that moment. And so the instructions that Rona gave and the way that it was received, you know, that's her communication to share with the table. But my understanding is she told them do not provide that. Who had a comment next? Isaac.
I guess first of all, I have no problem with senior play for tribal council members, as long as it's in the books. It's already been done. I have no problem with our seniors going out to Winnebago for their monthly, given to every senior of this tribe just as much, just as the same. I have no problem with that at all. Hopefully, I make it in a couple of years, to achieve that and get there. But if it sounds like if senior play, if it was given extra for the month, then it could be a problem. Then it should be a problem. I don't think $70 is and compared to $20,000, there's no in between or no, so. And I'm glad that it's being said it was paid back, because we have issues, today within our organizations that I'm glad that was said and documented. And so how do we clear this up? How do we get to the bottom of it? How can we verify all this stuff? That's what I would like to know. I would like to see, verifications. So that'd be coming up before I can even, like I said, have an opinion. But that's just that's what I have to say about it. Again, I have no problem with our Winnebago Tribal Council members receiving their monthly free play at Winnebago, as has been going on. But anything that's requested, that's takes you back to like 2015. So we need to clear this up, if it goes any farther than today. Thanks.
Thank you, Coley. Did anybody like to make, back to Isaac?
So moving forward, to try to clear this up, you'd almost have to have an investigation. But one of the things looking at this is that it's on video, it's on recording that you requested this on behalf of the council. It's on the meeting before the treasurer's report. So that would have to be brought back up, that video, and then the meeting before that there was a joke made that wouldn't that be nice if the whole council got free play, is the exact words that were said in that meeting. And then it was just kind of laughed at, and then now we're at this point. And so the thing that I have a hard time with is saying that, to me, any of the tribal council should not be playing or gambling at any of our partially owned or owned and operated by the Winnebago tribe. That would just clear everything up. No gambling. You can go gamble somewhere else, but not at our own establishments, because you are considered one of the governing bodies over that. And then that just kind of leads into the slippery slope of saying, hey, these are, what if I walked into the cage at Winnebago and said, give me $100 out, I feel like playing, I'm here for a meeting to meet with the GM. I'm sitting there waiting for the GM, and I play that money and I hit a jackpot. Where do I go from there? And how is that right? So I just have a hard time with that of saying that the integrity, we hold people's feet to the fire for many things, and we're supposed to be leaders and lead the way, and our integrity is supposed to be at a higher level than the people that we're paving the way for, so that way they continue to support us and continue to reassure that we're making the right decisions. But when these things were said, when the casino was created way back there was a time that said that was mentioned that said when this casino was created, money is going to divide this tribe. And a part of this is that looking that Kenny, you should have known better to not mess around. Lance, he should have known better not to mess around, not to be giving the tribe anything of the each individual council members. And if we all are honest and upfront about it, then we don't have nothing to worry about. And nobody's calling each other a thief or anything. And these things are some of the stuff that we have to be able to continue to be transparent about. And the first motion that I made when I got on the tribal council this term, was that the tribal council chambers are open to all tribal members. And I really enjoy getting cussed up by tribal members. I really do. Makes me feel loved because of one reason, because I get to understand exactly their concerns when they bring them forth and they share them with us. So it helps me determine the right decision on leading the people down the right path. But when there's no acknowledgement or none of these things are voiced or concerned, the table grows to a comfort level to where we think we're making the right decisions, but we haven't even listened to that individual that these decisions are going to be affecting. And so moving forward with all these things, we have to really make sure that we are the best leaders that we possibly can be during our term, and to be able to be accountable for everything. Because when we talk about money and we talk about all these things, a lot of these subjects create certain feelings within the community, within families, within all these different parts. The things that we talk about here at the table affect each and every one of our lives. And if it doesn't affect us directly, it affects one of our family or one of our relatives down the road. And I just want to get this cleared up. And I really feel that an investigation needs to be brought forth. So that way it could clear everybody's name. It could straighten us out. It could explain back to the people, here's what went on. Here's what they thought was going on. Here's what went on, and so on and so forth. The quicker that we get this cleared up, the better off we are to holding the integrity of this table. But when I first threw my name in the hat, I didn't throw my name in the hat to start doing any kind of funky stuff. I believe in karma, and I don't want none of my children, I don't want none of my family members, and most of all, none of my relatives to have to end up paying the consequences for some foolish thing that I have done. And I'm the youngest one here at the table, and I try to voice my opinion a lot of times on behalf of what I think is right. And I try to make sure that, because I know that everything that we have to do here in this physical world has a repercussion, has a consequence. When nobody is looking, the things that we do, we have to be mindful of that. So I try to reiterate that. And I don't want to sit here and fight each other, but I don't want to be sitting here and one bad apple spoils the rest of it for all of us. And so, because when we come across these I'll call them hiccups, when we come across these scenarios or these things that take place, one of the things moving forward is that it slows down the movement of this table of working together. And I would really like to see the unity of this table. I've seen it in a couple of little subjects, and we were able to move past and get things straightened out on behalf of some of the children that were being affected by some of the decisions that some of the directors were making in different departments. So the Creator, He puts us in the places where we're supposed to be. So I just wanted to share that with the membership, and again, remind you that the tribal council chambers are open to any one of you. You can come down here, you can get on the agenda and voice your opinion. You can come in, and we used to have an open door policy, and then COVID came along. So come on down and let us know your thoughts, feelings, all that stuff, and help us make the best determinations for the best decisions for the tribe moving forward for all of us, from the youngest to the oldest. Thank you.
I have a
Thanks,
Madam
Isaac.
Chair.
comment.
Louis and then Kenny.
I won that black Jeep. My name was called. I didn't answer it. I watched some white man drive out with my Jeep. I don't expect to be treated different. I'm a senior citizen and go play senior citizen points. I should be treated like any other tribal member. I don't like that I have to go to another casino to spend my money. I'd rather spend my money at my own tribal casino. If I had a jackpot, I should be able to take it. Otherwise, it implies that I know how to manipulate the machines. I don't know how to manipulate the machine. But I play there. And I like to play at my casino. I don't like to be discriminated against. Thank you.
Thanks, Louis. Kenny?
Yeah. Isaac just mentioned in here before when he started speaking, he said that I mentioned that wouldn't that be nice if all the people that went down there got free play at the casino, and everybody just laughed it off. I didn't know I did that. But gee, I would have appreciated a response rather than just laughing about it.
Is there any further discussion? Brian?
So again, Council, I very much appreciate the sentiments that have been offered from all the various viewpoints in this, because discussion around this table is something that for some reason is vilified and people get afraid of, when the reality is if this circumstance, as was stated amongst the membership even here today, was simply brought forward, we're asking for this, and a motion was made to support that, there would be no question. What happened to this tribe in 2015 began small. And to use that term, slippery slope, it was because of those small activities. And I'm going to restate my position again in this for the council's awareness and anyone else listening. The individuals who were responsible for providing what was quote unquote asked for are so desperate to appease members of this tribe, this tribal council, excuse me, because of how they perceive the division around this table, that to a tribal member, and now I am offering you real tribal member points of view, they were bought and paid for because of activity. Now, whether or not you agree with that, whether or not you acquiesce to that, that sentiment exists amongst our membership. I thought we learned our lesson in 2015. I thought we would never repeat those activities, no matter how small they began. Politics being what they are and what they always will be, is that this council has an obligation to remain above the fray. And because of how it was brought forward, justifying my actions of the day in that treasurer's report, I didn't realize that was a real request, made in jest or not. But because of the thirst of those individuals, desperate to appease, I understand why it was given so easily and freely. Because to that same point, Madam Chair, I understand there's responsibility everywhere. So as this discussion is being had, because my name is getting put in people's mouths that somehow I caused this, when all I'm trying to do is distance myself from it, I have a real hard time dealing with. But at the same time, I've told you guys this before, I will choose the knives that go into my back, and this is not one of them that I choose. My name is in people's mouths right now, that I didn't cause, that I didn't create, that I didn't solicit. If I have to be somebody's bad guy, then there's nothing I can do to stop that. But at the end of the day, I thought we learned our lesson in 2015, because those small beginnings blew up into federal indictments. I thought we understood what we had learned. And even in this day, I can't believe that this council even has to have this conversation. But for that being said, I'm glad it is, because the people can hear it.
Thanks, Brian.
Well, I think it's got to be clear that Winnebago seniors that get elected to the tribal council can no longer play their senior free play while they're on the tribal council. I'm okay with that. But make it a motion. And everybody knows it, the membership knows it, and then I'll just take my business to the Hard Rock.
Thank you, Lorelei, for that comment. You know, like, everything is, there's always looking for ways to penalize the council. I don't really understand that. Like, you can't do this, you can't do that. You don't get a Christmas bonus, you don't get a raise, you don't get COLA, you can't gamble at the casino. You know, like, that doesn't make you a stronger tribal leader. It doesn't make you more ethical. If anything, it's like, why do we have to put rules in place that we should be doing anyway, or we should not be doing anyway. So thank you for everybody's comments. The process to kind of go into the space that's been talked about is an ethical complaint, and that is the tool and the mechanism to explore this if the tribe or the membership think that this needs to be further explored. I don't think that I guess this is what it's come to, you know, that everybody wants everybody on the internet to know about this, and so that we could shame people or that we could do something or hold this table accountable. But I guess I just say that, you know, that if this is where you want to spend your energy, that's your leadership prerogative, but there are many other things you could be working on than this. But
Well, if we're going to be talking ethics, I want to bring this up so the membership remembers. I made an attempt on the ethical complaint of the tribal council, the policy, that every council member that draws a salary needs to document their time and be in the office. And if they're not going to be in a meeting somewhere else and it's during the workday, then they need to be on leave. There's people that sit around this table that don't even come in here. But my motion failed when I tried it. But I still submit a daily log every month, and they're all on file in the executive assistant's files of what I do every day. And I'm here every day, unless we have a meeting somewhere. And if I'm not here, I'm on leave. I take my leave. And since my daughter passed away, I've been leaving at 3 o'clock, teleworking. I still get home, but I have to take care of my great-grandson. We have custody of him. So I have to pick him up from school and take him home. But I'm on telework, still signing finance, answering emails. But I do document my time, and there's people here that want to be talking ethics, don't even come into this building. Ask finance, they knows who ain't here.
okay,
So if we're gonna talk ethics, let's talk about showing up if you're getting a council salary.
so I would like to call point of order to bring us back to the Warhorse free play discussion. Are there any more items on this item before we move on to our tribal council items? Is there anything more that needs to be said? Okay, well, thank you everybody for your comments. We know the mechanisms we have. I'm not encouraging anything, but I'm just glad that we had this discussion. Under tribal council items, I had put on here a request to go to the Reservation Economic Summit in 2023, but geez, now you guys got me scared. Shit, I don't go nowhere. If that's how it's going to be going forward, that everyone has to watch their back and make sure, you know, there's lots of things we could say about lots of things, but now I feel weird about asking for travel to go somewhere because I don't know what the hell is going to do to me while I'm gone, or what they're going to say to me. Like, I don't even know how to proceed under this climate. So, Isaac.
I think so it's been put out there, see where it goes. I don't think you're out of line for asking for approval of travel as the chair. That's what we're all supposed to be doing, going out advocating for different funding and different opportunities for the tribe to move forward, not sitting here fighting each other. So I think you're all right with that. But again, what's said is said. If something goes on, something becomes of this and it comes from the people, then we'll deal with it then. But until then, I think we would continue on with taking care of all the trips that are in the future of doing this. Like the one thing for the public is I don't know how many of them are aware that you and Rona and Danao went out to out there and out to Washington and advocated for the tribe and come back with quite a bit of funding for the tribe to help out with the hospital, in the amount of $16 million. So I wouldn't want to hinder that to where you don't continue to go out and try to advocate on behalf of the tribe and behalf of the people. So.
Well, thank you for that support, Isaac. I just worry that I got to watch my back now. But I would not ask to go if I did not think that I had business there. But I really enjoy traveling on behalf of the tribe. I do my best to represent the tribe, and I feel like I'm thorough when I go there with our issues. And I get tough. I'm very tough in these meetings that we go to because I think that our people deserve the best. So, Eric.
Yes, I have to agree with Councilman Smith. I believe that you do a good job in representing us wherever you go, and the feedback that comes back with your work that you do diligently out there in representing us, it's helping the tribe. I think we all see that, and so I'd say don't be discouraged by what's going on here, the discussion today, because it's something completely different. And so this is gonna grow its own life, or what it's gonna do, whatever it's gonna do. I don't see that having anything to do with you. And a lot of our ambassadors that go out, like it's been said to DC recently, and getting us millions of dollars that will only benefit our enrolled membership. And so I think that I don't think you should have to worry about that. And you know, like we say to our enrolled membership, the ones that we represent, that the council chambers are open, and you're welcome to come to any meeting that you want or that you can. And so with that, thank you.
Thank you, Isaac and Eric, and for the encouragement. I guess I'm just kind of like a little shaken up because I'm asking for something now. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Brian.
Madam Chair, I just want to say that I agree wholeheartedly with the sentiments offered by Isaac and Eric in this, and at the same time with that, my point that I made in my last comment section was that legitimate issues brought before the table that stand in the light of the people will never be brought into question, because at least they had that opportunity to be brought, such as these. So with item number 1, the motion for the Res Conference, motion to approve.
We have a motion by Brian. We have a second by Isaac. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried. 7-0-0. The next action is travel approval for the 2023 Tribal Land Staff National Conference. We have a motion by Brian. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Isaac. Discussion.
That's going to include our land management.
Yeah,
staff.
that's the one they went to last year, and then any interested tribal council member to go support them would be appreciated. Any further discussion? I don't know where it's at this year. I think last year was in Minnesota.
It's in Arizona.
Oh, Arizona. Okay. Any further discussion? Objection. Motion carried 7-0-0. The next item on the agenda is for discussion only. I don't think there's a policy drafted. It's probably a discussion to have a policy. Over the course of the past, I don't know how many years, but we've had many tribal members that find themselves in distress, whether it be natural disaster, kind of like those hurricanes we had, fire, and different things where their whole livelihood is uprooted. And recently we had some fires in the community and outside the community, and the tribe had given a monetary amount. I think it was $1,000 to help the family get back on their feet. And it wasn't per person, it was just like for the household. And we don't have a policy on how that works. We've just done it as they come in, and we've done it by 5 signature, I think, because it was such an emergency, and we just felt real bad for the families. And so the discussion now is, we have another tribal member that finds themselves in this situation, and we need to determine if we can just give it when we want to, or if there's certain criteria that need to be met for the tribe to be expending that kind of resource. So, Ryan.
I understand the topic being brought forward. The first thing that I want to add is we did the ratifications in that, and I just want to throw this out here. For some reason, that 5 signature ratification disappeared from my signatures before we got there, which is why I wanted to second the motion to show that I supported it. But in general, if this policy doesn't exist, or the administration doesn't have something in place that can govern this, from mine, it's a simple motion to direct them to do so in the time that they need.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Directing the tribal admin to develop a tribal house fire
House
policy?
fire policy. Yeah. If something doesn't already exist.
And perhaps it lives in human services or something. It could be another funded thing that we give to human services. It's just that when people have an emergency, you know, the first place they come is to the table, and we've dealt with it on a case by case. But so if there's
Create a path.
a path that you see that is not at the table, you know, that's wonderful.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Brian, second by Eric to develop that. Lorelai.
I just wanted to bring this up because one of the tribal members that didn't get $1,000 is set for the executive session, but she left me a message that she's got a job, and so she just started, so she can't be attending this meeting. But I know that 1,000 went to this tribal member, and I'm happy for them. But we had 2 fires that there was a tribal member down in Florida. Her house burned. And then we have the one whose house or trailer burned here. And they didn't get $1,000. And that's why I'm bringing this up, is we got to be equal across the board for every tribal member. That's why I think, what?
I think we had 4 fires.
Yeah, and so, oh yeah, that's right. Our veteran back here. And so we need to be equal across the board in response based on, I don't know what the criteria would be, but if it's their whole house, all their furniture, you know, I mean, I just think there should be a policy so that our tribal members are all assisted fairly, equally. That's why I wanted this issue on the agenda. So if Brian's motion is to direct tribal admin to develop a tribal member house fire policy, then I think that will help solve. But then I think about, well, what about this one here? Then can she get that $1,000? Can our veteran back here get that $1,000? And how about our tribal member down in Florida? So that's $3,000. Because one tribal member got $1,000 by 5 signature, and I'm glad we help. I'm glad that's what we're here for, to help our members. So, but I'm just speaking up for the ones who had a fire and they didn't get $1,000. That's all. Thank you.
I think that we have that natural disaster, don't we? I think there's a natural disaster.
It's only $250.
Yeah, it's only $250, but I think you can modify that and add that in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Instead of creating a whole new one.
Okay. Good idea. Eric.
Yes, I one thing I'd like to be mindful, like everybody to be mindful of, is some of our enrolled membership, they don't have anything to their name. That's our poorest, neediest ones, and sometimes they do things that will burn their current dwelling down that they're staying in, and knowing that they have none to lose, and if they see $1,000, that's $1,000 to put in their pocket. If we're just going to give it away, I would still like to make it available, but I like to still have it requested, because that's a kind of a safeguard for us. And even right now, any enrolled member that has a house fire and it burns down,
Okay.
they can request it. You know, if they say, hey, I got a place, $1,000 can help me get my own place. You know, more by all means, you know, let's help them. But I just kind of don't
want to be giving money away. Hey, somebody's house burned down. Let's give them $1,000 because it might be somebody staying in a shack or living in a cardboard box and it burns down. Hey, that was their house. Let's give them $1,000. You know, that might be a little bit of loose interpretation or kind of craziness, but it doesn't surprise me. People go to great lengths if they don't have nothing and they can see something for free. So I would still say let's make it available, but let's still have them request it, because I'm still down to helping any enrolled member in any hardship. But I just don't want to be throwing money away because we're already short on that as it is. So, like I say, just have them still request it for a safeguard for us, and be more than willing to help them out. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. Any further comments on the motion? Objection to the motion? Motion carried 7-0-0. That brings us to our executive session. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Did Brian want to do his executive session point before we go into executive session?
No, very last.
Okay. So we have a motion to go into executive. Who moved it?
I did.
Moved by
Second.
Brian, second by Eric.
2:36.
Objection to the motion? Motion carried 7-0-0. We're entering executive session at 2:36 p.m. Louis, we'll move you over to the executive session room. Second by Eric. Discussion. Objection.
I gotta abstain.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Brian, Eric, Isaac, Coley, Kenny. Louis, do you vote in favor of the motion?
I just came up. Yes,
Okay, there was a motion to support the 20% share for the prosthetic, for a tribal member out of Human Services. Do you support that motion?
yes,
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 601 with one abstention, Lorelei abstaining. Thank you, council. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, can I ask one question before? So is Louis and Lorelei and I senior play at the casino nullified?
There
or
was no
valid?
motion to that effect.
Okay.
Motion to
Game
adjourn.
on. We got a
Well,
motion
I'll be over there.
by Eric to adjourn. Do we have a second? Second by Brian. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 700. We're adjourned at 4:07 p.m. Thank you, council, for hanging in. No lunch, just chips.